Alright, hello YouTubers, and today I am going to be reviewing pretty much a load of Sonic Prime figures. The slightly smaller ones, which are these ones here, and also one of the 6-packs and that. But yeah, let's just go on with it and jump into it, shall we? So this, I think this is set A, B, 1, 2, Buckle Your Shoe, Cuckle Doodle Doo, whatever, sex. So yeah, we'll take a look at it, and there'll be something, even though there'll be a lot of figures in this review, a lot of them are duplicates, even though they are different packs, which I'll go into in a minute. So, makes sense, we'll start with standard Sonic. Standard old vanilla Sonic, which, yeah, and it won't stand up. And this is a problem I have with these figures right off the bat. For some reason, the slightly larger figures, which aren't much larger than these, all have bases that are permanently attached, whereas these don't. These have two little peg holes in there, presumably to attach to various playsets or accessories that are going to be released down the line. Yeah, the thing is though, these figures kind of do need the bases because a lot of them don't stand up very well on their own, and other figures, like Shadow here, just will not stand up on his own at all, no matter what surface I put him on. That's also because if you look at his legs, there at the feet, they're slightly off from each other. Yeah, they are slightly off from each other. But yeah, this is just basically just a very standard modern Sonic figure, really. So yeah, this is pretty much the only figure, one of the only figures that's released in these Sonic Prime waves, where you could get away with this just being any other Sonic figure. There's nothing really much to say about it. It is quite nicely detailed, and the paint apps, they're not too bad, though there is a bit of paint bleed and scuffing around the eyes, unfortunately, and also particularly the eye here is actually overlapping into his eyebrow, so yeah, a little bit odd there, but other than that, not too bad. You can see there's a little bit of legal and copyright information, although it is quite stealthily put on there on the quill. Although, to be honest, I don't know why they didn't put it on the underside rather than the overside, but thankfully it isn't too noticeable. And he has just fell down the journey, and also the light is falling, so you can see that we're off to an absolutely brilliant start here. Everything's going swifty hunky-dory. Great. So since reviewing Sonic, let's go on to 9. Not the 9, completely different character, Collectomaniac anyway. So yeah, here we've got Tails, Ninetales, which is pretty much just a smaller version of the other figure, which we'll get onto in a minute. I did actually review the larger version of this, but yeah, it's still a pretty nice figure. But I will say something about this, and it's something I'm gonna grab the other one, and again, showing my absolute professionalism, I didn't grab out in time for this review. I grabbed the other figures out, but yeah, if we just compare him to his larger counterpart, you can see not a huge amount of difference in the scale, to be honest. I mean, there's not the hugest amount of difference in the Jakks Pacific scale, though it is a little bit more drastic than this. My neighbours are playing music, so hopefully that isn't picked up and copyrighted. But yeah, interestingly, you can see the colours and that have changed in here as well. So yeah, slightly different colouring on that. Not just a major difference. The thing I find really odd though is the Ninetales themselves. So on the slightly larger one, they've got it as the correct sort of silvery, sort of grey colour. It should be a little bit more metallic than that, but they've got it the right colour. On this one, it's much darker for some reason, which, yeah, I'm not really sure why they've done this. I'm guessing it's just the type of plastic it's moulded in, but yeah, it's weird how they got it right on this one, but not on this one. A little bit odd there, but this does show a problem which wasn't really much of an issue in this figure, but is in the others, and the fact that a complaint I had about these was, frankly, the obvious articulation, which really ruins some of the figures. Here, since they're unarticulated, there's no articulation, and the articulation that this has is pretty pointless anyway, it actually makes them a much nicer collector's item because they're not ruined by the ugly look of an articulation joint anywhere. Like, you know, the thing is though, you can't, I mean, I don't get what the point was having these be articulated. It just seems like it was just something that was just put on the box last minute. Like, yeah, the head, I understand, but just having the arms having a bit of articulation is kind of pointless because it looks really odd otherwise. But thankfully, with, you know, this is an issue. I haven't got any ugly joints and that on there, which, to be fair, the Teals figure didn't have. But yeah, this one, yeah, pretty bang on. This one, pretty bang on. So yeah, I'm just putting the ones that I've reviewed to one side. So, again, as the light bloody falls, because the longer I do this review and it's really warm in here, the more the tape that is holding the light in place moves. So yeah, here we have Mr. Dr. Eggman. And yeah, this fixes the issue I had with his larger counterpart, which is this. This is the major problem. This was the worst one in terms of having an articulation joint here. Which, yeah, with this one, because it's unarticulated, is completely fixed. He is unfortunately top heavy, and all of them, as I say, struggle to stand up. But because of it being unarticulated, not having that joint, it actually does look really nice. And considering that the 12-pack of figures are £30, it makes them a really good price. And the blind bags, which I will be opening 2 of these later in the video, yeah, the blind bags are only £3 each. So while these may not be Jakks-specific levels, they're not Jakks-specific prices either. Not that they're particularly expensive, but, you know, they are much, you know, cheaper priced than the others. So, yeah, it's nice to have something that's a little bit more budgetary in there. Which, yeah, it's not too bad, actually. A lot of the detailing and that is still there, and there's, yeah, it's still pretty nice all the same. So, yeah, this one pretty much fixes the major issue from the other. So, I'd say for people who are put off by the larger ones that were articulated, you know, this might change your mind. I mean, some people are just going to wait for the Jakks-specific figures coming later on. I'm going to pick them up as well when they do eventually come, but you know, these are nice sort of standing for now. So, screw these and doubles now. Let's take a look at the 2 Knuckles variations. So here we've got, I guess, Eggman City Knuckles, which, yeah, again, I don't really find any issues in that with this because of the unarticulatedness and all the detail in that is sharp, and this one doesn't have any paint bleeds in that either. The only thing is, they haven't painted his mouth, so it looks really, really odd. They haven't given him, I don't know why they haven't painted that white, and this is an issue that plagues this figure as well. Although this figure, you know, you don't need to paint, it's just a little line sculpt in, but as you can see, his necklace is just being left completely red, as being left completely unpainted. Now, with that, you can kind of get away with that. With the mouth, it just looks a little bit odd. It looks less like a mouth and sort of like a deformed part of his face. It just looks really odd. Like, they should have either painted it white to make it look like his teeth, or painted it black or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know why they went to the effort, because, you know, they painted the eyes white, so why can't they just go dab on there? You know, they get, like, yeah, it's just a really oddity on this one. Otherwise, you know, don't give him the toothy grrr look. Just, you know, give him a simple line like this, whereas, because that you can get away with that more. It just, you know, it looks fine from afar. It looks fine from afar, but as soon as you can see the mouth, as soon as you can see that mouth, you just can't unsee it, and it just makes him look really rather odd, quite frankly. But other than that, you know, they are still quite nicely detailed as well. It's weird, because they go to the detail of painting this part here and bits on there. They go to the effort of doing the little bits of green here. It's just tiny things like that, the mouth. I go, rather that. It's just, yeah, it's just quite odd, frankly, yeah. But there you go, there's 2 more Knuckles. Moving on, 2 more Eemees now. This Eemee here on the left is the one exclusive to this pack, whereas this one is in the other pack as well, which we'll get on to in a minute. So, yeah, we've got the two Eemees, which this one, I'm going to have to hold this one up because the hammer really, again, is just making her top heavy. So, yeah, it would have been nice if these did come with these little plastic display bases. To be honest, I think that would have made it a big advantage. Now, since they do have the peg holes and that on the bottom, it means you know, will it be able to get, say, a third-party base or something like that to stand them up on, but it is annoying that it doesn't come with any. Again, Eevee, though, look at that mouth. Look at that mouth. It's the gritted teeth look. Looks fine from there, and it's less noticeable since she's pointing her head down. But I think this one looks worse than the Knuckles. This one just looks like she's got flesh-coloured tape over her mouth. Yeah, it just looks, quite frankly, quite odd. Which is a shame, because all the other detailing and that is really nice, really spot on for the most part. But yeah, they haven't done any pink knacks on the ropes and that around the hammer. But again, less of a noticeable thing, and you can kind of forgive it more on this scale. Again, it's just really odd that they've decided to do that. Like, you know, if you're going to go to the effort of doing a sculpt for a mouth like that, then why bother? Why bother? I'm sure, I haven't looked at the prototype pictures in a while, but you know, I wonder if in the prototype images that it was painted, I wonder. I don't know. I should have probably gone and looked at that before this video, but I didn't. Oh well. Well, yeah, I do quite like this Eemee variant, but this one is definitely the one I wanted more, and yeah, this is definitely the one. It's coming up on camera looking a much brighter pink than it actually is. Yeah, it's actually pretty much, it's a slightly lighter pink to that one, but yeah, it's coming up a lot brighter. But yeah, this one goes to all the detail, and this one is just I'm assuming that's a tiny slit there for the mouth. Just there, just there. I'm gonna have a look at this. Yeah, it's really hard to tell if there is meant to be a mouth at all on this one. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I've just had a look at it in person. It just almost looks mouthless. Although, to be honest, it kind of looks better because of it. I'd rather have it be the mouthless like that than just have a weird, you know, sort of, well, that, essentially. But yeah, it is unfortunately a more basic and simplified version of it. It doesn't have any of the... It does have details on there, but it doesn't have the paint to basically, you know, back it up. It does just look, you know, less like metal and just basically just grey plastic. So yeah, I think if this had been done actually in this darker sort of grey black plastic, I think it would have actually brought it out a lot better and looked closer, because it just looks, again, it just looks too much like grey plastic. And we've got the legal information on the back, which is just like, of all the places you could have put it, just like, why not put it on the feet? You know? I mean, it's still nice enough. It is still a nice enough variation. And again, for the price, you know, this is definitely one of the better ones out of them. But, yeah, I'd say if you're at all, you know, into your painting figures, then I'd say if you paint this, or even just give it a sort of metallic sort of wash to it, would bring it out a little bit more. But still, not a bad one. Let's get on to Rouge. And, yeah, this one, again, just has... This one does actually have a little line for the mouth just there, which, again, perfectly fine. Like, if you're not going to, you know, be painting any mouths, then just do a little line moulded in, perfectly fine. And that way, you've got the wings there, which are 2 separate wings, though they are very, very close together at the back like that. It would be nice if they were spread out a little bit more, but they are basically 2 separate wings, not just one wing that's made to look like 2. It is part of the same sculpt that is plugged in there, but still. but it is still nice to have all the little detailings and that in there. And they've even gone to the effort of painting her neck scarf or neckerchief or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, sometimes with these they do go to the effort and sometimes they don't. It's a little bit odd with even the little sort of bit on the beret there. But yeah, this is a really nice figure. Really, nothing really bad to say about this one. Now, this Sonic, when I took him out of the box, he has this on him, this sticky, gooey substance, which is a bit of glue on the top, and I'm just wondering, can I peel it off? Ew, ew. The answer is yes, I can. Ugh. He had a bit of glue on him. And unfortunately, this one just will not stand up at all. Again, this is the Sonic figure. Blur. My mind is going at this point. This video has been going on a while already. But, yeah, this one is actually really nicely done, actually. They've even gone... Look at how they've gone to the little effects there of doing the little red bits there, which then just makes me question the mouths even more. I know I'm sounding like a broken record talking about that, but it's weird how they go to the effects here on the hands and also on the feet and that as well. But, yeah, with other more crucial detailing, they don't bother. Yeah, I just find it odd in that regard, but, you know, other than the hands and the feet, it is just basically a standard, you know, Sonic figure. I do quite like the pose, but unfortunately, again, this one will just not bloody stand up on his own, unfortunately, which again emphasises why these figures need bases. So, yeah. I have completely forgotten about this figure. To be honest, completely forgotten. Again, he kind of has the same issue as the Amy had. Where is she? There it is. Where it does this look like basically just grey plastic. Which, yeah, this one to a less extent so, but still, you know, it just, I think, emphasises the sort of cheapness in it. Again, stuff with wash, you know, a slight wash over it would have been nice, but again, maybe that is a bit much for these figures, because again, these figures in the blind bags are retailing for £3 each. Still, it does have a nice enough detailing. It is quite a nice figure. This one actually stands up surprisingly well on his own accord compared to the others, which is amazing compared to when you look at his feet compared to other ones. But yeah, he is quite nice, this one. He is quite nice. Again, don't really have a lot to say. It is just a nice enough one. Now, this is one of the rare variants. They say rare. I'll get onto the packaging in a minute for these. But calling these rare, I mean, he's not really rare when he's in every one of these set B12 packs. But here we have Shadow. Now, interestingly, they haven't painted the front bits of his shoes there, so they are just completely white there. But, yeah, it's just a Shadow figure. Again, could get, just like with the modern Sonic figure, this could be basically any Shadow figure, essentially. Now, it does look like the stuff fur on his chest is just painted on, but no, it is actually a very, very, very thin sculpt that is sculpted on there. But yeah, the Shadow is not too bad, although you can see some of the moulding markings on here as well. You can kind of just see sort of the imperfections and that and the moulding in this one, and I think that's just because it's black plastic that you can see it a lot more. You can see where some of the corners and that have been cut. This one also doesn't have the legal information on the spikes like the Sonic does. This one has it on the legs. Yeah. Just thought that was a little bit odd with that one, but yeah. He's an alright Shadow, he's nice enough, I guess. And again, with the little line there on the mouth for the anger, and that gets across really well. And then finally, we have, is this referred to as Jungle Tales or Forest Tales? I can't remember now. But yeah, this figure actually, you know, stands up the best since, you know, he's on all fours completely flat like that. So, yeah. Again, the detailing on this one, really good. Unfortunately, he does have that bloody open mouth thing. However, this one doesn't. This one's not as bad as the others. Sinks Tails' muzzle on that here, his fur around his face there, is all white, and obviously his teeth are white. On this one, it doesn't. This is the one case where it doesn't really matter, because he can get away with it just saying, "Oh well, it's just his teeth." I think that's why I didn't really notice it on this one. They've even gone a little bit of orange at the front and that there, the darker orange. But yeah, this is actually quite a nice figure right here. And also, again, they've done the thing of joining the two tails together, which makes it cheaper and easier to sculpt. However, they've also done the thing of moulding on the belt here, and even a little pocket there. But again, it's completely unpainted, so it just looks like he's got a bit of a lump on the side of him, which, yeah, it does make it look slightly odd. It's weird how they go to some efforts but not others. But yeah, that's all the figures in that pack, which they come in this nice little bubble, which I will now, at record speed, put them all back into places where I think they probably maybe possibly should be going. I don't know. We'll just shove them in, hope, pray, and away. But yeah, this retailing for £30 is not bad. It is not bad. You could do, I think, a lot worse for the money than this. I'll put the rest of them in later. But if we take a look at the other sets, because this one we'll actually be able to have a look at the packaging. So yeah, this is the packaging, which advertises "Find 2 rare figures hidden under here," which is where the modern Sonic and the Shadow were hidden in the other sets. But if you notice, in this other set, most of the figures are exactly the same as the first set. So the advertising 16 to collect. Yeah. Well, a lot of the figures are the same. And it doesn't even tell you what figures are included on the back. It's just a load of information and that about warning you about stuff. I don't know. On the side you can see the figures and that are available to collect and the rare variants. So yeah, but if we take this one out, I'm only going to cover the figures that I didn't cover in the first pick, so that means skipping quite a few of them, unfortunately. Let's start with Sonic, because we always start with Sonic, don't we? So yeah, let's start with Sonic. We'll put the camera back that way. Again, the tape has just fallen off. Stick the light down. So here we are with Sonic. I think this is from the Eggman City, if I remember rightly. And yeah, this one actually does stand up pretty nice and that on his own. Whoa, the light wants to go on a journey. But yeah, other than that, not really much to see about this one. He unfortunately has a bit of a lump just there. If you can just about see that there. And yeah, I don't know if this was trying to be a moulded mouth, him gritting his teeth or what, but it just looks like a bit of a lump that's there. I don't know if that's maybe just a line. Again, it's hard to tell when he's just, you know, like that. But yeah, it's just a weird thing with these character mouths. But, you know, other than that, it is quite a nice thing. It does have a quite nice, you know, sort of action pose type thing there. So this one, again, as opposed with the pose that he's got in, yeah, it's a nice one that you could nicely, you know, sort of display on the shelf. Eggy Emo Eggman. Eggy Emo Teenage Eggman. I've forgotten what his actual name is. But yeah. Now, unfortunately, the bit of blue which is on his hair, unfortunately, bits of the blondish brown is sort of poking through, but other than that, it is quite a nice little figure, actually. Basically, that was my one going complaint with that, where the blue's just slightly off. He does actually stand up pretty well and that on his own, this figure, but yeah, in terms of a pose, to give him yeah, that's probably like the best pose on that you could have gave him. He is quite a nice thing. Now, something I should mention also is the scaling with these. So, where's regular? So there's Mr. Eggman, Mr. Dr. Eggman, and yeah, you can see these are not to scale at all. These are absolutely not to scale. I mean, you know, give an example, Sonic and that to scale. Yeah, the scale is just kind of ignored in terms of scaling. So if you want, you know, all your figures to be in scale and that with each other, these are not really in scale with each other for the most part. It is a bit irritating in that regard. Like, it seems like, you know, non-human Sonic characters generally are in scale with each other. Like, for example, again, Sonic and Tails pretty much scale with each other. But yeah, he just seems a little bit too large, unfortunately. Which seems he is really nicely detailed. So yeah, bit of a shame there. And now let's get on to the two exclusives to this set, which are the last two different figures in this one. So we've got Big the Cat and Froggy. So yeah, Big the Cat, the biggest and heaviest figure here, and yeah, he is pretty solid, pretty heavy, but yeah, he is pretty nicely detailed. But again, if we take a look, this is interesting. There we go. So we take a look at the picture of him on the box, if I can get the box in. Yeah, he looks a bit dishevelled, whereas he looks perfectly fine on here. So yeah, interesting that they're advertising it like that on the box. Ooh, this camera is getting awfully warm, which is why it's getting a temperature warning. But yeah, on that, it is just a Big the Cat with some green leafy stuff on him. But he is quite nice. I do quite like the tail and that, which again is a separate piece that is just glued on. I thought it was a fix for there for a second, but no, it is actually a separate piece. But yeah, he actually stands up really well, and he is a really sort of, again, you know, weighty figure in that as well. And Froggy, well, again, he's quite large, but yeah, he is a quite nice little figure. Though he doesn't feel like his own figure, really. He feels, you know, he is basically just an accessory more than, I guess, his own type of figure. This one's the only one where they've painted the mouth as well. I've just noticed, yeah, this is the only one that they've done the mouth on, which begs the question, why did they bother doing it on this one and none of the others? They went to the effort to do it on this one. The other ones, nah, don't bother with them. Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So, yeah, a bit of an oddity there that they did it with that one and none of the others. But yeah, something with this though is that, again, most of the figures in this pack, most of them are exactly the same. So yeah, basically, you know, it depends. Like, for example, would you rather have this, or would you rather have Teenage Emo Eggman? Would you rather have not that version? You know, would you rather have a modern Sonic and a modern Shadow, or would you rather have Big the Cat and Froggy? So yeah, it's kind of just like, would you rather have this one or that one? Because to be honest, like, I think for most people other than collectors, like most people, I'd recommend. And a jump cut here because the camera overheated. So yeah, but anyway, what I was saying just before I got cut off there before is, for most people, I'd recommend just buying one or the other of the sets, because again, most of them are the same figures. So yeah, it's basically, what three figures do you want more? And I say, you know, three figures, most of them are just variations and that of each other. So yeah, which one do you want more? Do you want Shadow more? Do you want Big the Cat more? that's basically a way to decide between the two of them. So yeah, or you could just go blind bags, which is what we'll do right now. So yeah, here are the blind bags. These are, again, as I said at the start of the video, £3 each. You can see all of the figures here, 16 to collect. Well, I've collected all of them because, again, I don't know, it's a bit odd having these blind bags, yet you can buy all the figures if you buy those 2 packs. Yeah. So, let's see what we've got. I got my sister to choose these, actually, just so I knew it would be completely random. So, we've got the Knuckles here. Do we get anything else in the bag? We do, we get a... Thought we'd get one of these. A little checklist for the figures, which again, I can checklist all of these, and oh look, just look at those renders and that, and look, don't they look so much nicer on there than the actual ones do? These don't look bad, actually. Let's see what the other one is. But yeah, I don't really get the point of the blind bags, like, because, you know, you're better off just getting the packs, really, because then it's just like, right, you're done. Okay, so that's what the owner. So we got another Emo Teenage Eggman, and this one is actually slightly better because look, the blue is actually all on the line this time. So yeah, this one's actually better than the one I have. So in the pack, so yeah, that's a better one. And yeah, just move them to one side. But we've got a 6-figure pack to look at. So yeah, again, their strategy of releases is really weird. So if you remember, last time I reviewed... Again, the light bloody fell off. Last time I reviewed this figure 4-pack here. Now, this retails for £18. So, again, not bad for all four figures, which on their own, I think they come in blind bags as well, blind boxes for £4.99 each, although I haven't seen any in any shops as of yet. But this is the box for the 6-figure pack. Again, 8 to collect in this range. Yeah, now this one I got off Amazon for £24.99. The Wiggly, the other one that they had of the 6-pack of figures, that one was retailing for on Amazon for £32.99. Also, God, it was a miracle these figures, the ones I bought from Amazon, survived, because Amazon sent them in just basic brown paper bags, and it is amazing that they weren't crushed or destroyed. Anyway, let's take a look at these figures. Thankfully, most of them are different, only one of them is the same. So, or a couple of them are the same, 3 of them are the same. Let's take a look at the different ones first. So, let's take a look at the Sonic. This is different from the one I previously reviewed. And again, it is just a larger version. I think because also of where his hand is as well. I just realised from this angle it looks like he's having a wank. But yeah, because of where his hand is in there, it does actually cover up the joint a bit better. But yeah, this one though does have the open mouth, and yeah, it's just left unpainted, which in this larger scale, you know, you'd think that the do it, you know, you can kind of give the excuse a little bit more to the smaller scale, but the larger scale, it's like, yeah, no excuses here. No excuses here. But yeah, it's also weird, these are £2 more than these ones. Yeah. It's weird that there's literally a £2 difference in terms of their prices. But yeah, again, these all have plastic bases and that just... Oh, no, this one does seem to be removable. At least that one is. That one is glued on, but this one actually does seem to be removable, showing the detail on the bottom. But again, this one, yeah, I don't know if it's just luck with that one, but yeah, me saying that they're glued on is still true, because that one is completely fixed, it won't come off, but that one will. That one mustn't have been glued on. But so yeah, they've actually went to the detail of putting detail on the tread on the bottom of the soles. But you know, unless you pull them off the bases, which again you'll risk breaking the pegs or breaking the figure doing that, then you'll never ever see them. Yeah, there is still again a bit of arm articulation, which again for the most part is pretty much pointless. A little bit of head articulation, but it's all hindered because clearly this figure wasn't designed with articulation in mind. So yeah, it just ends up being a pretty pointless endeavour, really. So here we have the Amy, again just a larger version, and oh god, it looks even worse. It looks like, it looks even worse, the mouth, it just looks worse in this bigger scale here. And this one, wow, this one's got a really, look at that, it wobbles, that one's got a really loose waist section here, which again just like emphasises what's the problem. The arms have a bit of articulation, which again is just why, because she's, yeah, she is, I think the hammer, is it removable? Yes, it is. The hammer is actually, the hammer is removable. The thing is, without the hammer there, she looks really odd, but yeah, it is nice that the hammer is removable. God, this light, the problem is I keep having to tape it in place, because I don't have anything to put it on, because its threading mount is broken. Oh no. But yeah, just with that mouth, you can get away with it a little bit more on the smaller figure, but in this one, no, not really. I can see that from where I'm sitting, and I'm sitting about, I don't know, just over a foot away from it, and I can see it. And if I'm moving, okay, so now I'm roughly about 2 foot away, I can still see it. I can see it in the bloody viewfinder of the camera. So yeah, doesn't work. And finally, again with this bit unpainted, we have the knuckles. And again, this one has a really loose, wobbly waist. And this one, the articulation doesn't really want to work on this one. It's kind of stuck in place. Yeah. I mean, if you just compare it, again, if we put it on the base even, there's not much of a difference in size. I really don't know why they bothered with these. I really don't know. I can't recommend these. I really can't recommend these to collectors or kids or really anyone. It's just, why? You can't really recommend them to kids as a plaything because you can't really play with them, and collectors, because there's too many issues with them. So yeah, and then the other 3 figures is again the Ninetales, the Mr. Octagon, and Rouge there, which, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think if I'd seen this, if this was in the Toy Entertainer when I bought that 4-pack, I probably wouldn't have bothered with the 4-pack and just bought that one. Because again, just like, why in so many of these packs are they reusing the same figures, and why? It just doesn't make sense for me. Like, okay, so I can kind of get the logic a little bit in terms of the 12 packs of the minifigures sharing the same figures, because there are only that many of them, so yeah, it makes sense why they do a load of doubles. But why in the slightly larger ones are they doing 2 different 4-packs and 2 different 6-packs of figures? I really don't know why. I really don't know why. Can anyone explain that to me? Because that really doesn't make sense. I mean, this is, again, £18 each. This one is £25, although, again, the other pack that they had of these was £32 on Amazon, I think. Oh no, it was 33. It was £32.99. I don't know how much it's meant to retail for. I'm guessing it's probably the £25 price tag. I'm guessing that would make a lot more sense. But yeah, it's just really, really odd. So, in conclusion, this set here, there we go, the light. I'm just going to hold the light for the last bit. In conclusion, this set here, or the other one of these, I would still recommend it. I would still recommend it. For the price and for the amount of figures and that you're getting, yeah, I'd still recommend this when you're factoring the price and that. I mean, price per figure, again, £30, 12 figures included in that, so yeah, you're paying less than £3 per figure. When you factor that into the price, this is actually a really good bargain compared to a lot of stuff. I mean, what can you get for less than £3 a figure these days, you know? There you go. So this, you know, yeah, they have their problems, but still they are quite nice. Stuff like these larger ones, no. I just can't recommend them. The more I look at them, the more I think about it, and part of me regrets getting them and that as well. But yeah, these aren't too bad. These are all right. So that's my final thoughts. To the people who are, you know, diehard collectors, this video has been completely pointless. You probably already made your decision months and months ago when these were first unveiled and announced. But to anyone else, there you go. Now, if you're on the fence about it, I'd say either wait for the Jakks Pacific figures, or pick up a blind bag, you know, because again, the blind bags are only £3. Get one in hand yourself, and just, you know, decide on that part, and then buy one of the other packs. I should also note that these are also going to be released in, I think, 5 packs and that as well. Yeah, I don't know why they're doing so many different packs. Frankly, it's a little bit odd. You can also see that this box here had a bit of damage on the back there, and a little bit round here, and also a little bit on there from Amazon, because this was the one that was in the bloody brown paper bag. Yeah, which really bloody irritates me. If it was any more severe, then I would ask for another one. But yeah, that's just the kind of collector I am, because I like to keep stuff in box. Anyway, this video has gone on way too bloody long now. So yeah, thank you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.